Why is it you, Chris? It's him. It's his life. Why is it, again, I keep hearing you in the conversation.
Because without me, you can't make the money.
Will your son ever be champion?
As long as he thinks it's about the belts he has around his waist, no, he'll never be a champion. It's only about how people feel about you.
I can live with my life knowing that I messed up, so I've got to pay the price. But I can't live with they made the wrong decision and now I'm paying.
Chris Eubank Sr. has made it clear that he will be fully in his son's corner ahead of the highly anticipated showdown between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn.
Chris Eubank Sr. has made it clear he'll be firmly in his son's corner for the much-anticipated clash between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. The legendary former champion, renowned for his charisma and commanding presence, recently voiced his steadfast support for his son, framing it with a blend of fatherly pride and trademark sharp wit. But Eubank Sr.'s words seemed to carry more weight than simple family loyalty. As he alluded to the emotional intensity and deep personal stakes of the bout, fans are left wondering just how much lies beneath the surface. With the long-standing history between the two fighters, his presence rings louder than ever, both as a father and as a figure with his own legacy entwined in the narrative.
My father actually, he was the opposite in terms of supporting or, pushing me towards boxing. He banned me from going to boxing gyms for a couple of years. He didn't think I'd be tough enough. I was begging him all the time, let me go to the gym, let me go and spar, let me go and train. And he would just tell me, no, you're not going. Stick with your athletics, stick with your rugby, stick with your football, stick with your studies. That was a big thing for him, because he didn't have that education growing up. Boxing's gonna be too tough. It's too hard. I've been there, I've done it. I know what you're gonna have to go through to make something of yourself in this sport. And it's too tough. Where you are, you're in a mansion, you go to private school, you've got everything you need and want here. Why do you need to go down to the gym and get your ass kicked every day? You don't need to do that. It took years of me nagging and begging, let me do it. Finally, he gave in.
The rivalry between Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn stands as one of the most legendary chapters in British boxing history. Their first encounter in November 1990 was a high-stakes spectacle that gripped the nation, fueled by raw intensity and fierce anticipation. Both fighters were at the peak of their powers. Eubank Sr., an unbeaten and supremely confident technician, and Benn, a fearsome puncher known for his relentless, all-action style. The fight more than delivered on its promise. After withstanding Benn's early onslaught, Eubank rallied with precision and resilience, ultimately stopping his rival in the 9th round to claim the WBO middleweight title and etch his name into boxing folklore.
Your dad intervened with the egg throwing and put his arm, I think, on your throat. And at the second press conference, you basically threatened Nigel Benn. Said if he did that again, you'd deal with him. And
it wasn't a threat, it was a promise.
Oh, it's not a promise, is it?
You can't touch
scumbag.
You can't.
What we did.
You can throw an egg in his face, and it's part of the calm.
Me and him are fighting.
You're just upset.
Me and you are
dad
fighting.
Can't stand you. And my dad has my back. You are. That's all that
I'm not
was.
upset.
My dad put.
Me and you are fighting. Whatever happens between us.
My dad would put his arms around you. What are you going to do about it?
No one else.
What are you going to do about it? Tell me.
No one else can touch me.
Tell me.
If they do, there'll be consequences.
Oh, consequences to what?
If anyone else
slap you right now,
if anyone else touches me,
what if I just slap you right now? What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, talk about my dad.
I'm not talking about your dad.
No.
But I told him.
But
I told him.
Get off me, please.
My old man would never touch you, so your old man's never going to touch me.
I'll never slap you.
You would never slap me?
Yeah, no, I won't slap you.
You put your hands on me twice since my last fight.
When?
You pushed me.
Push, a little push.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You put your hands on me.
Little push and stuff.
You
Stop moaning
put your
about
hands on me.
Stop moaning about it. A little push and shove. Stop moaning about it. Talk about my dad.
You put your hands on me, I put my hands on you.
I'll never disrespect your dad.
Yes, you would. You disrespected him before.
What, the fact that he don't like you? It's a matter of fact.
Okay, well, it's disrespect.
That's a matter of fact. How's that disrespect?
You can't give it and not take it.
You fucked up by talking about my dad. You done fucked up talking about my dad.
You fucked up by taking this fight.
Yeah.
That's right.
Their rematch in October 1993 was just as intense as their first bout, ending in a dramatic split draw that left both fighters unsatisfied, and fans longing for a trilogy that never materialized. Despite their starkly different styles and larger-than-life personalities, Eubank and Benn shared a deep, if hard-earned, mutual respect. Eubank's flamboyance and mind games clashed beautifully with Benn's raw power and emotional fire, crafted a rivalry that captivated audiences and transcended the sport itself. Now, decades later, the spotlight shifts to the next generation. Their sons are set to reignite a legacy built on pride, grit, and unfinished business. This renewed rivalry is more than just a fight. It's a generational showdown, rich with history and emotion, where legacy, identity, and redemption are all on the line.
Oh, mate, that'd be legendary. You know, that'd be legendary. I'd love that.
We know that your dad has had two very, very famous fights in the 90s with Chris Sr. You're, 3 or 4 weight divisions away from Chris Eubank Jr. at the moment, but you are 19 and you will continue to grow and you will continue to put weight on. What chance of you fighting Chris Eubank Jr. at some point in the future?
Oh, mate, that'd be legendary. You know, that'd be legendary. I'd love that. I'd love that. But there's so many obstacles I've got to get first before we can even consider that. Yeah. So far, it's just a fantasy for the British public. You know, but who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn come from different weight classes, adding a compelling twist to their upcoming showdown. Eubank Jr., with a professional record of 32 wins and just 2 losses, has competed across the middleweight and super middleweight divisions. His experience in the heavier weight classes gives him a natural edge in terms of size, durability, and physical strength. Over the years, he's tested himself against elite opponents, earning a reputation as a technically sound, athletically gifted, and mentally resilient fighter. Conor Benn, by contrast, has made his mark in the welterweight division, where he remains undefeated with 21 wins. Known for his explosive power and relentless aggression, Benn has evolved rapidly from a raw prospect into a legitimate threat. However, he's never fought above 147 pounds, making his jump to a 156-pound catchweight unfamiliar territory. To make this highly anticipated clash happen, both fighters have had to make significant sacrifices. Eubank Jr. must cut down from his usual fighting weight, which could affect his stamina and power. Meanwhile, Benn faces a challenge of bulking up while preserving his speed and explosiveness. The 156-pound catchweight, just 1 pound below the junior middleweight limit, is a carefully struck compromise, but introduces risks for both men, setting the stage for an unpredictable and fascinating battle.
But you know, if Chris is even 70% of what he was, he's far too big for Benn. If he is really gone and shot, then yeah, he has a very good chance, because you know, he's the guy that can eat comfortably. You know, he doesn't have to pull himself down to make weight. You know, I look at it the same as I look at the, you know, obviously Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fight. You know, a lot of people just don't understand. You know, one guy planned not to make weight and one guy was actually working hard to make the weight. It's not a fair fight. And that's without even talking about, you know, the accusations about with the PEDs.
Chris Eubank Sr. has been vocally critical of the upcoming fight, raising serious concerns about its structure and the potential risks it poses to his son's health. At the heart of his objection is a contracted catch weight of 157 pounds, which requires Chris Eubank Jr. to drop below his usual middleweight limit by 3 pounds. Eubank Sr. believes this cut could have dangerous consequences, citing the physical dangers of extreme dehydration and the stress such a process puts on the body. He warns that it could severely compromise his son's performance and, more importantly, threaten his long-term well-being. Eubank Sr. hasn't minced words in his criticism of the fight's promoters, accusing them of prioritizing profit over fighter safety. In a raw and emotional outburst, he went so far as to say, "You tried to murder my boys. I'm coming for you," highlighting the depth of his alarm. He argues that the terms of the bout are not only unfair but border on unethical, and possibly in violation of the sport's rules. For Eubank Sr., this goes beyond boxing. His stance is driven by a father's instinct to protect his son and a firm belief that no fight is worth risking a life. Unless the terms are changed, he maintains, the bout should not proceed.
Or 8 pounds? You better watch out, dreadlocks. You better watch out, because we are come for you. Oh, sorry. It's my mother's tongue again. It comes through. You'd better watch out, because we're not playing. We're real, and we are a terror. And the procedure will be parliamentary. Rastafari.
Chris Eubank Sr. is under no illusions about the threat Conor Benn poses in the ring, especially when it comes to facing his own son. He's not underestimating Benn in the slightest. In fact, he's acutely aware of the danger Benn brings, regardless of whether some believe the younger fighter's power may have diminished. Crucially, Eubank Sr.'s criticism isn't directed at his son, but rather at the circumstances surrounding the fight. His concerns are rooted in a father's instinct to protect. With decades of experience in the brutal world of boxing, he understands the risks better than most, and fears this particular bout may do more harm than good. Eubank Sr. has made it clear that he would prefer the fight not go ahead, not out of doubt in his son's ability or toughness, but because he knows just how punishing and unforgiving the sport can be. Despite his deep respect for boxing and immense pride in Eubank Jr.'s accomplishments, his priority remains the same: to see his son succeed without being forced to risk everything in a matchup that may push too far.
Let Conor go and have his illustrious career here in the United Kingdom and then in the United States, because he beats them all. That's how fantastic I think he is. I've always backed you, Conor. I've always backed you. Okay, you're sensible. If it's true that you've said things about me which are not complimentary, I don't mind that. I'm looking at the people that you're around. Here it is. You know the spirit world. That's how I know you're an honest man. The people around you are part of a gang. It's a team thing. You're the mark. Okay, the only person who's going to look out for you is you. It's supposed to be your dad. And people like me. You can trust me. Yeah, you've seen me get up in a fight I can't win and walk back into the fire. You can trust me. I'm not going to give you any, I'm not going to mislead you. You know, I'm a lawman.